Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to offer dana, then please do go to justthiszen.org/giving. Your support really does make a huge difference. Thank you so much.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for your support for our collective practice. It was beautiful to hear the bird during our sitting. From all those thousands of miles away, probably a bird I will never see, through the wonder of our practice, it accompanied us. So thank you, Ed. And I'm looking out of my window here. It's midsummer. There's a gentle breeze outside. And already on the sycamores, the seeds are gathering to propel themselves, as they do, to the ground in a couple of months' time. It's like everything is always in motion. I've been listening to a wonderful collaboration between East Forest and Ram Dass. It's Ram Dass's Words of Wisdom set to music by East Forest. And in one track, Ram Dass plays with this beautiful statement, I am loving awareness. And I was thinking when I was listening to the bird from Hawaii, I'm just loving that I can be aware of that. And I sometimes take that for granted, that we have the gift of awareness. Ram Dass says, only this moment is real. Only this moment is real. This moment of loving awareness. The past and the future are all just thoughts. And I'm loving the awareness of how precious it is to be with you today. And I was thinking I would like to have a necklace with a bead for every one of you. People would say, "Oh, just look at that one." And I would say, "Yes, that's Suzanne. And that one is Leslie. And that one is Ed." We're all necklaces on a beautiful piece of lovely metal around our necks. On the 20th of July 1969, the day Apollo 2 landed on the moon, Suzuki Roshi shared a talk entitled, Enjoy Your Life. Enjoy your life. He said, the first one to arrive on the moon may be very proud of his achievement, but I do not think he is a great hero. I don't know how you feel, but I don't feel that way. If we think about this, we immediately know how important it is to practice Zazen. And I've been wondering, what would he say about some of the things that we meet today? What would prompt him to say, if we think about this, we immediately know how important it is to practice Zazen? Would it be AI? Maybe. Perhaps you can think of something. What would he say? He says, instead of seeking some success in the objective world, we try to experience the everyday moments of life more deeply. That is the purpose of Zazen. And then he describes how he went to visit an island owned by the Nature Conservancy Council. And he said, if you live in an area like that, and you really start to see things, to see the plants and animals in that area, you may want to stay there your whole life. And he concludes, so if you want to find something interesting, instead of hopping around the universe, enjoy your life in each moment, observe what you have now, and truly live in your surroundings. And I wonder too if this is an invitation to truly live in the surroundings of this self, this one, to become intimate with this self that we think we are, rather than trying to get away from ourselves, trying to book a holiday away from ourselves for a while, however attractive that may appear. Returning to place today, I want to take you on a journey to London to meet two people who embody and express Suzuki Roshi's sentiments. The first person is called the Gentle Author, who has written a daily blog since August 2009 about the area known as Spitalfields in London. 5,000 stories and 44,000 photographs. The feel of the work is encapsulated in this online appreciation. I love you, gentle author. I read Spitalfield's life when my heart is worn. It makes me think of you and how remarkable the beauty. I find their work tender, thoughtful, kind, humorous and respectful. On the front cover of the book of the blog, the gentle author writes, "In the midst of life, I woke to find myself living in an old house beside Brick Lane in the East End of London." And when they said this, I found myself moved to say, "In the midst of life, I woke to find myself living near London in 1950 in a strange and mysterious post-war landscape." How about you? In the midst of your life, where did you wake up to find yourself in these brief decades that we inhabit, if we're fortunate? The gentle author shares how Walter Brunus opened St. Mary's Hospital as a refuge for the sick and the poor around 1560. In doing so, he gave the name to the place as St. Mary's Hospital Fields, and it became Spitalfields. Most importantly, he established Spitalfields as a place of refuge, defining the nature of this location as a bright field of possibility where the wealth of the city meets the poor of Tower Hamlets. A bright field of possibility. And I'm wondering, in this precious life, can we offer something that is a bright field of possibility? Formless field of benefaction. In the introduction to the book, which celebrates and explains the incredible richness and history of this small area of London, the gentle author writes, "Without all the individuals who have opened their hearts to me, these stories could not exist, and any success Spitalfield's life has won must be attributed to these qualities alone. While I personally must claim responsibility for the flaws as indicative of my own limitations." And they conclude, "Your loyal servant, the gentle author." Would that we could inhabit this precious life as a loyal servant. Here are some of the chapter titles of the people and places she's visited. Mavis Bullwinkle, Secretary. Robson Cesar, King of the Bottle Tops. Prince of England, Underground Dancer. Holmes and Watson, Spitalfields Piglets. Lenny Hamilton, Jewel Thief. And I'm going to read you openings of 3 of the chapters, just to give you a flavour of how they write. I was going to say she then. I have no idea who they are. Marge Henson, nursery nurse. On any school morning in Spitalfields, you may always rely upon spotting Marge Hewson between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, traversing the roads from Greater X Street to Chicksand Estate, trudging around in all weathers, ringing doorbells and collecting up her beloved charges until she has acquired a crocodile of as many as 20 small children, whom she ushers safely to Christchurch School in Brick Lane, where she has been a nursery nurse for 40 years. This chapter is entitled An Afternoon with Roa. I got a message to say that Roa, the street artist responsible for the squirrel in Redchurch Street and the crane on Brick Lane, was painting a wall at the back of the foundry in Old Street. So I raced over, only to discover an empty car park with a lone security guard sitting in a car. I expected him to ask me to leave, but when I inquired about Roa, he told me with some excitement that the artist was expected at any moment. This is called Mr. Pussy in summer. There's also a chapter, Mr. Pussy in winter. Those of you who are luxuriating in the warmth of summer, spare a thought for my cat, Mr. Pussy, who has a fur coat surgically attached and spends his languorous days stretched out on the floor in a heat-induced stupor. As the sun reaches its zenith, his activity declines and he seeks the deep shadow, the cooling breeze and the bare wooden floor to stretch out and fall into a deep trance that can transport him far away to the loss of his physical being. The second person I want to introduce you today is Tim, the London walker. And Trudy's recently introduced me to Tim, and the first post that she showed me just utterly transfixed me and evoked a kind of spacious wonder in me. So I'm going to actually say word for word what it was. But if you can imagine trickling water as you hear this, this is what he said. I thought I would take you to a piece of public art which is really, really remarkable. Outside Bloomberg's new European headquarters, there lies an intriguing juxtaposition where our modern world meets the ancient. In this area of the city, buried underneath, flows one of London's lost rivers, the Walbrook. The Walbrook has been resurrected through a piece of unique public art called Forgotten Streams by Christina Iglesias. By moulding cast bronze, she has created a riverbed crowded with roots and branches and matted layers through which small courses of water tumble and thread. It's a reminder of what was once here. So this is an evocation, a recalling of the place's wild, organic past. The work allows us to gaze down through the steel and glass, the bricks and timber, the flagstones and tesserae, and be reminded of the city's pre-human natural condition, London before London. It's not just a conduit for water, it's a conduit for time itself. Perhaps one of the ways we can think of our practice is as a conduit for time itself. Sometimes in Zazen, we have intimations of our own pre-human natural condition. For myself, Josh before Josh. For you, you before you. As it says in the Sandokai, the spiritual source shines clear in the light. The branching streams flow on in the darkness. The gentle author addresses us as your loyal servant, an indication of their vow to be of service to their community. And what Tim, the London walker, and the gentle author have in common is that they are guests. They practice awareness. And I wonder what happens if we think of ourselves as guests in this brief time we have here together. Does something relax? Does something shift? Do we have a different appreciation of time? Do we take more care? What is it to be a guest in this world? In our practice, we speak of host and guest. It has a different and more textured orientation from the concept of guest I have just been exploring. This could be a theme for a whole retreat or a lifetime. Today I want to move towards finishing by identifying a few threads of this practice of host and guest. In the Song of the Jewel Mirror Samadhi, we find, practice secretly, working within, like a fool, like an idiot. Just to continue in this way is called the host within the host. Practice secretly, working within, like a fool, like an idiot. Just to continue in this way is called the host within the host. Vanessa Abel says, the theme of host and guest is popular within Chinese Zen, broadly used to illustrate the interplay between relative and absolute. One of Zen's major tenets is that our personalities and beliefs are not absolute, but rather guests within an impenetrable host. This relationship then becomes more complex when we talk about guests within hosts and vice versa, as well as the host within the host. So I'm going to refer now to the Surangama Sutra. So it's one of the public teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha. And so the disciple Ajna Kaundinya addressed the Buddha saying, suppose a visitor stops at an inn for a night or for a meal. Once his stay is ended or the meal is finished, he packs his bags and goes on his way. He's not at leisure to remain. But if he were the innkeeper, he would not leave. By considering this example of the visitor, the one who comes and goes, and the innkeeper, the one who remains, I understand what the visitor signifies. He represents transience. Again, suppose the morning skies have cleared after a rain, then a beam of pure light from the rising sun may shine through a crack in the door to reveal some motes of dust obscuring the air. The dust moves, but the air is still. Thus, by consideration of this example, the dust, which as it moves obscures the air, and the air, which itself remains still, I understand what the dust may signify. It represents motion. The Buddha said, so it is. When the sun has just come up, early on a clear, fresh morning, a morning after rain, the sun shines through a crack in the door, or perhaps a crack in the wall, and displays the fine bits of dust bobbing up and down in space, moving all around in the sunshine. If the sun doesn't shine in the crack, you can't see the dust, although there is actually a lot of dust everywhere. But while the dust moves, bobbing up and down, space is still. It doesn't move. The ability to see the dust in the light that pours through the crack expresses the unmoving stillness of your essential nature. The ability to see the dust in the light that pours through the crack expresses the unmoving stillness of your essential nature. And a final quote. Larry Rosenberg said, the ancient Chinese used the image of the host to describe the observing, stable meditator. Many guests visit the host. Some are invited and they tend to be kind, charming, and a pleasure to entertain. Others are not invited. They are drunk, unruly, and eat all the food, or they stand around staring into space. If you become so absorbed in the behaviors of your guests that you forget you're in charge, you are no longer the host. Can you stay awake in the face of all the diverse visitors who come and go? This is your practice when you sit, to be the host, to be awareness itself. So just returning to the beginning when we heard that beautiful bird song, can we just love awareness? Can we love the fact that we can be aware and to hold that awareness of everything that moves inside us and everything that we are invited to meet? Are we guest or host or both? Thank you very much. And just to say that Trudy's going to post the links for the gentle author Tim the London Walker and for Ram Dass's reflection on I Am Loving Awareness at 28 minutes past the hour. So thank you. Hi, Joel.
Hi, Josh.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. And thank you for this very beautiful introduction to this time together. I, I just took a long car drive from New Mexico to Central Texas. And on the way, I was listening to um, a book by Henry Shukman with his lovely Oxford English accent, reading his own book. And it's The Four Inns of Happiness, or I can't even tell you what the name of it exactly, but there's uh, a long arc to his narration describing. You probably know this book well. I'm curious. Do you know him as a person?
I've seen an interview with him. I think with the poet David White.
Ah,
But I've not read anything or had any further, contact with him.
ah. Well, I'm very much enjoying the book. As I say, there's a long arc in the book in which I've been thinking about it ever since it kind of came to me. My wife was asleep on the seat next to me as we were going through long stretches of West Texas. But um, he says essentially that it may be necessary for us to be the confused guests. And I'm thinking now also of the Guest House poem by Rumi. The troubled thoughts, the malice, all of that. But that we may need to pass through that state so that we can finally realize what it really means to be the host, to really meet our essential nature, and that we have to fully acknowledge everything else to be able to have that meeting, which I think is an amazing thought. And so that has a wonderful resonance with what you're pointing to today. I just wanted to.
Yeah, I really appreciate what you're describing because I think it's important to have lots of experience of different things in order to move with them.
And indeed, I left out the most important thing of what he said. You have to pass through these states to have this meeting and to embody all of them with love as well.
Yes.
To love yourself and to love the world fully is the final state, I would say, that lines up with what you were describing as being the host. But that unless you can stop fighting and pushing back against these aspects of your life, but acknowledge them in a loving way, you're not ready to be the host.
No, I think what you're pointing to for me is the host is a training, and it's something that you learn through experience probably, and also maybe I think what you're describing is often things will be tricky, um, but I suppose it depends how we respond to trickiness and difficulty in whatever we face. In terms of what we experience with people, but also within ourselves. It's how we care for them and cherish them, I guess. Um, is that kind of what you're pointing to? Do you think, Joel?
I hope so. I hope so.
Hmm.
That's a beautiful way to put it, and it gives me more to think of. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you, and that's really helped me think about, the difficulties of being the host. Just as when you host a party, you never quite know how it's going to go, do you?
Mhm.
It or host anything.
Well, and as Rumi says, maybe they're going to steal all your furniture,
Yes,
thing like that. And
yeah,
then, but how's the line? They may be just emptying the place out for something better to come,
yes, yeah.
which is, that's a hard lesson to
Mm, mm.
face.
It's nice to meet you again, and I really appreciate how you've been holding inquiry in recent weeks. So
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
thank you for that. Yeah.
Thank you. I don't-
Hi, Cassie.
Hi, Jesse. um, I the phrase "moving stillness" just felt luxurious.
Mm,
There was something that I wanted to dance with there. There was something that was just really nice,
mm,
velvety. And I'm taking this familiarity class, and we're talking so much about dualism and uh, ideas of good and evil and ideas of right and wrong, and that landed with me, of moving and stillness landed with me in that two ideas or one idea. And so I'm probably not keeping my line of thought here. I'm kind of jumping around here.
yeah.
But also the idea of vow vow and
Mm,
offering.
mm.
And if offering isn't born in compassion, then it's something that can be depleted.
Yeah.
And that that then what somebody could get used up.
Oh,
But if that internal orientation, there is, I feel like there is an internal orientation that cannot be depleted,
yeah. And
and that I don't know it.
mm, so I was really um, aware when you were talking about dancing, you were kind of
Yeah,
moving stillness. So there was some kind of energy which had been generated from the talk
yeah.
and I wonder, the two examples that I've chosen, the gentle author and Tim, I think they do it because they love it. That's my guess. Otherwise, they would get completely depleted.
And not be able to do it every day. And everyday practice is a whole nother animal.
Yeah. So there's something about the returning energy from what you give actually sustaining you. Um, and there was something about, then you won't get depleted by,
Because it's an engagement, not a giving.
yes,
Like a giving has something has to go away. If I give it to you, I've had something and now I don't.
yes.
But the other thing is an engagement.
Yeah. But there's a circularity about it in my mind. It comes back. The gentle author goes and visits people. They write beautiful things. They receive, I imagine, on the whole, love and appreciation, and it comes right back. And there's something very circular about it.
And so what happens when that circle is broken?
Good question. What do you think?
like the first thing that comes up is grief. Like when love that has no place to go. You know, it used to have a destination and now it doesn't, and so we call it grief. And so if it like you host a sitting group and nobody comes, you know, that you're still hosting a sitting group, but there's something I can see. I can, like, if I put myself in that situation, I can feel self-criticisms come up, like I'm doing it wrong, you know, comes up really fast. But if I am only, or if I occasionally just think about the engagement, or just think about what's, I want to say being offered, but being offered also doesn't, I'm really struggling with the word offered.
Yeah. So I remember when Flint talked about when he first started a group, I think maybe nobody came to start with.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about too. Yeah.
I wonder if, do we do it because we want people to come? You know, of course we do, because we want to share the Dharma, but does our individual self get affected? It does.
Yeah.
I'm doing it wrong. Nobody likes me, you know. But I wonder if, you know, at what point can we just do something
Yeah.
without a gaining idea?
Without a gaining idea. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then take care of any sorrow that comes up if people don't come, because it you never know, and
Or
you could wait, and then after 3 weeks somebody comes, you know, it's like, oh.
mhm. And that to bring awareness to the gaining idea part internally. You know, if I can do that, then that can soften the wave, soften the storm.
Yeah, I remember Flint when we first started just this, and I, you know, I had this sort of idea that we should have people coming, and he said, well, they'll come, some might stay, some will go. He said, don't concern yourself with the comings and goings, just offer. And that was really helpful, helpful to the part of me that wanted to succeed. Um, and we need companions so that we can say these sorts of things to each other and go, it's okay, you know, we're doing our best. We offer the Dharma as sincerely as we can, and then whatever happens, happens. And it's all okay. So I think that's it's important to keep checking in with each other, you know, about what's arising.
Yeah.
And I love the, you know, the way that the moving stillness, because stillness isn't kind of like this static kind of, it's this dynamic, in my experience, experience of what is coming towards us, and what is it to not move within movement. You know,
Yeah. 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 All right. Thanks,
yeah,
Josh.
there's a few things for us to think about. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Josh, this is so wonderful. It's a whole bunch of things that have been coming together for me over this last while. And just a little thing filling in what that is that I 3.5 years ago, I moved to assisted living here when my cancer and other factors going on in terms of my health were such that I couldn't take care of myself completely.
Yeah.
And Sheila Fling, who was with Appamada for a period of time, had just moved to assisted living, some like in San Marcos. And so it was hearing her talk about how rich it was to be there in terms of sharing some of the things in our practice that are helpful to other people. And that in doing that, I mean, it's, you know, in my place, there are 60 people living here, and all of us are suffering in one kind of a way or another, or in many ways. And it's very rich. And it wasn't until I was with Appamada that I even understood that my problem has been that I've been a bodhisattva before having the practice. It's in me. It is who I am. And how rich it's been to get more of that, and really aware that, you know, and then all of a sudden, like, I had a horrible period of time earlier that wasn't my health. It was my community was in a horrible space here where everybody was in fear based to something. Anyway, it's a long story, but I tried to be the calm person and I tried, you know, like a lot of stuff. And during that time, also a very close friend of mine was dying. And it was all too much. It was way too much. But I made it through, and here I am. And once I stepped back from all of that had happened, I realized I need to learn a whole lot more of the tools and ways of doing that will help me be a bodhisattva who can sustain rather than jump in the best I could under the circumstances and so on. And the paramitas now, the class around the paramitas, and, you know, Joel's Dharma Talk on Sunday and so on. I had already been clear. I'm going to spend some time with myself, learning, and what you're talking about is to know myself a bit better as well. And it's I'm just so thankful.
That's a beautiful place to be, because as I was saying with Cassie, it's really important to resource ourselves so that we can be more who we are in a compassionate, kind way. And you know, I used to think it was important that, you know, I did more. And I'm learning, like you, I'm kind of learning all the time. And I'm sure just by being you, without actually having to do anything, is of service to everyone. Just the way you are. And that's, you know, it's profound, in some ways it's profound non-doing. You know, people will like being with you.
And I'm in a perfect place here because we have our own suites. So I can close the door when I know I'm off kilter in some kind of a way. I can close the door and evaluate when I go through the halls, when I go to the dining room, when I'm in a program with other people, how can I best be here? Or to recognize this is not a good time for me to be around other people because I can't bring that fully enough for myself to trust that I am fit to be around people.
Yeah. Need to really, really take care. And you know, if I think about, you know, Suzuki Roshi, he was very playful. He was very funny, as in my experience, in my estimation, and I think it's really helpful sometimes to not take ourselves too seriously about how we're doing, and as he said, enjoy your life. Yeah, he was very clear. Enjoy your life while we're here together, and if resourcing yourself enables you to do that, then that's so important. Thank you. Rosemary.
Hi, just 1 second. I kind of lost the picture. Hi. Hi,
Hey.
Josh. I will try and put this question together. You talked about, I love this, about loving awareness. So when you are aware of something that could be better, maybe, in yourself, how do you love the awareness of that?
Well, it's something about being grateful that you know that something is off. It's not like you're loving awareness because everything's great. It's loving awareness because I can be aware. And then we have something to be with and to
Yeah.
and to appreciate. So it's almost like we forget that we have this ability just to be aware of what's going on. And so a lot of it isn't very, quite not great. But from what I was sharing earlier, there are ways that we can minimize our suffering and the suffering of others.
Yeah. Well, I have a little example. So I'm walking with a partner now, and yesterday and today both, we were chatting, and this deer comes kind of out of nowhere, and she notices, and I'm so focused on the conversation that I was so pleased, that she noticed, but I was aware that I wasn't aware. And it happened again today. Same, looks like same deer, similar place. But anyway, so yeah, I think that's a really good practice to just, I get a little insular in my thinking and in my connection with my walking partner, and I may not be, noticing.
Yeah, and that's really good to be noticing you're not noticing.
Exactly.
And to conclude, watch out for the deer.
Exactly. That's
care.
right.
Take care with those deers.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you so much, Josh.
So, will you join with me saying the 4 practice principles, please? Caught in the self-centered dream, only suffering. Holding to self-centered thoughts, exactly the dream. Each moment, life as it is, the only teacher. Being just this moment, compassion's way. Caught in the self-centered dream, only suffering. Holding to self-centered thoughts, exactly the dream. Each moment, life as it is, the only teacher. Being just this moment, compassion's way. Caught in the self-centered dream, only suffering. Holding to self-centered thoughts, exactly the dream. Each moment, life as it is, the only teacher. Being just this moment, compassion's way. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here, for all your support, and I look forward to seeing you soon. A particular thanks to Ed for holding the space today for us. Thank you, Ed.